ready to travel back in time. We're not hopping in a time machine, though. Today, we're using archaeoastronomy to uncover how ancient cultures saw the skies and what it meant for their lives.
It's amazing stuff. And our guide is this incredible book, Exploring Ancient Skies. It's dense, I'll admit, but we're going to unearth those gems together.
And I'm already hooked. Right off the bat, the book talks about how different cultures didn't always have our standard 24-hour day.
Yeah, that's something a lot of people don't realize. We're so used to thinking of a day as this fixed unit of time.
Right, exactly.
But for ancient cultures, it was all about the sun's rhythms.
So their days would be longer in the summer and shorter in the winter.
Exactly. The book uses the example of the ancient Romans. They had seasonal hours, meaning a summer hour was way longer than a winter hour.
Wow, that's wild. Can you imagine trying to set a meeting time like that? Yeah, let's meet well, it's summer, so what's an hour, really?
Right. It really shows a totally different way of experiencing time. And it wasn't just the Romans either. The book talks about how ancient Greeks factored in their latitude when calculating daylight hours.
So timekeeping was definitely a big deal. But this book is also full of, celestial alignments, right? Ancient civilizations were super into where the stars lined up. Why was that so important to them?
Well, it wasn't just some kind of obsession. It was tied to their very survival.
Ah, right, of course, like agriculture and all that.
Exactly. Understanding the sun, moon, and stars was crucial for knowing when to plant and harvest. The book really emphasizes how practical this knowledge was. Take the Pleiades, for example.
Oh yeah, those are mentioned a bunch in the book, right?
They are. And they were a key seasonal marker for tons of cultures.
It's incredible. The stars weren't just pretty lights in the sky. They were like a guidebook for life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And a source of endless fascination, which we'll dive deeper into right after the break.
It's mind-blowing how vital the stars were to those ancient cultures. But I'm curious, we've talked about the practical stuff, the when to plant kind of thing.
Right.
But this book also gets into how they found deeper meaning in all of this, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It wasn't just about knowing when to plant. It was about finding meaning in those cycles. The book really shows how inseparable those objects became from their mythology, their whole belief system.
So the stars weren't just tools, they were storytellers too.
Exactly. And the book has some really striking examples, like the Moshe pottery depicting eclipses.
Oh, right. Those were amazing.
The Mush, this ancient culture from Peru, they created these incredibly detailed ceramics, and some show these scenes of, get this, artifacts coming to life during an eclipse, rebelling against humans.
Artifacts revolting. What, because the eclipse freaked them out or something?
Right, and that tells us something, right? To the Mosh, eclipses, those weren't just astronomical events. There were moments of cosmic upheaval, the whole order of things was disrupted.
That's wild. It's their stories, their art, it all encoded this whole different way of understanding the universe.
Exactly, and that's what I love about this field. You start seeing these connections across cultures, even separated by vast distances.
Speaking of which, this whole section on the Pawnee people and Mesoamerica blew my mind.
Oh yeah, the 20-day periods, right. Both tied to star alignments.
Yes. Totally different continents, yet they found similar patterns, similar meaning up in the sky. It's incredible.
It really makes you think about that human urge, to look up at the night sky and search for answers.
Okay, so we've talked about how ancient cultures saw meaning in the stars, but what about the actual tools they used? I mean, we've mentioned sundials, but this book is full of other incredible instruments, right?
Oh, absolutely. The ingenuity is incredible.
What else did they have up their sleeves?
Well, the book goes into a lot of detail about the astrolabe, for instance.
Oh, right, the astrolabe.
It was this amazing instrument, often made of brass, with these rotating discs. Imagine holding a model of the universe in your hand.
Wow.
And they could use it to calculate the positions of the sun and stars for navigation, timekeeping.
Wait, really? They could tell time with it too?
Yeah, and even figure out their latitude.
No way. They could figure out their latitude with this thing.
They could. It's pretty amazing what they were able to do.
It really is. It's easy to underestimate them, but they were incredibly smart.
Oh, absolutely.
The book also talks about Ptolemy, right? Didn't he figure out how to measure the distance to the moon?
He did.
Using just observation and geometry?
Yeah, he used a method called lunar parallax. Basically, it's the apparent shift in the moon's position when you view it from different places on Earth.
Okay, so by observing those shifts, and I'm guessing doing some serious math, he was able to figure that out.
Exactly, and that's just one example. Ptolemy had a huge influence on astronomy. Like, he created this whole model of the cosmos that was accepted for over 1,000 years.
It's incredible how much we can learn from looking back at those ancient skies and the people who studied them so closely. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive.
This was a great discussion.
If you want to uncover even more about how ancient cultures viewed and understood the cosmos, be sure to check out Exploring Ancient Skies. It's a fascinating read, full of incredible insights. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to step outside, look up at the night sky, and do a little stargazing of your own. Thanks for joining us.